Afternoon, everybody. Mike and Claire here, as promised. So
Live again.
we're on a
The
cheap,
second
we're
time
the second
today.
time today. We've just done a live now to warm ourselves up and get ourselves voices ready and so on. So we said we'd try and do a whole Facebook Live without mentioning the football. So we'll mention it now. We've done it, and that's it.
You
I've
just mentioned it.
Football, so we won't mention it anymore again. So hope everyone is well. It's just after 2 o'clock, so hopefully we'll have quite a few people joining us today. And this whole piece we're doing today came out of
a poll
that we did
Yeah.
into Business Squad.
Into our group, Business Squad, which if you haven't already joined our Facebook group, Business Squad, we're now over 1,000 members, which is fantastic, of business owners and entrepreneurs. And it's really just a group, forum, network to share experience, ask advice, post what challenges you're currently facing. We've got a great community in there.
It's growing rapidly, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
It don't seem so now that we are. It's really growing really, really well. So
we posted the poll in.
Yes.
And we said, what would you like marketing support on? What would you like Mike and I to talk about in our Facebook Live this week? And it came back as the number one area being how can you define your target customer and how can you market to them effectively was the number one topic area that came out that the squaddies wanted to know about for their business.
Closely followed behind was about marketing plan.
Marketing plan, yeah. And so, I think we'll probably cover that off next week.
Yeah, we'll cover that off as well.
Yeah.
So we're really just going to have a chat about this, aren't we? Because we've gone through and done some kind of real think about what we can talk about and how we can make this kind of relevant to you guys and what you're about. So there's a couple of major steps, isn't there? First one is about how do you define that target customer? And then the second one is then once you've defined them, how do you market to them? So if we kind of kick it off, I guess, and we've talked about this in other Facebook Lives, haven't we, about the importance of knowing your customer. Yeah. But kind of where do you start from? If someone wants to sort of profile their customer to really understand it, where do they kind of kick off?
Well, it depends. If you're, I guess, if you're already an established business, it'll be a lot easier for you to do this. And we always say that sort of knowledge is king, and really interrogating who your existing customer is.
So they're the people who are really buying from you, aren't they?
Exactly.
They're the ones who are buying from you at the moment.
So really understanding who that customer is. So thinking about the demographics. So what age are they? Gender? What profession do they do? Where do they live? Where's the geographical area that they're coming from? The behaviourals. So what do they like? What do they not like? What are they into? What are the things that really press the buttons?
I think, when I've spoken to people before, they kind of don't get why it's important. They don't kind of get why they have to do this kind of stuff.
We did a survey recently before our last bootcamp in May to business owners, and 75% of them came back and said that they feel like they're wasting, that their marketing just doesn't deliver them a return. They're wasting money on their marketing, and a lot of that can be because you're just not spending your money on the right areas of marketing. So you're not fishing where the fish are, as we say, or you don't understand who your target customer is. So yes, you are wasting your money because you're spending money and it's not delivering a return. So to find out clearly define who your customer is, and then you'll understand how to market to them. So it is really important as the initial step is to understand who your customer is. And you can do that if you're already an established business. You can do that by interrogating the data that you already have on your customer. Looking and seeing and profiling who that current customer is.
But it is also about digging deep, isn't it, as well? It's about really digging deep into those individuals so you can work out what's making them tick.
If you don't have a robust database that you can interrogate, then go up a level, go to the level where you think about the product and service that you have and what pain points does that product and service solve. So really clearly define each pain point that it solves, and then think about, well, who is it that this pain point is going to be solving something for? And that is then your target customer. So if you don't have that bank of data that you can interrogate and look at and see what the demographics are or the psychographics are of those people, then look at the products and service and come at it from a slightly different angle and say, right, what pain points am I solving, and who is likely to have those pain points and therefore be looking for my product or service.
Yeah, because if they, it is about really getting to know them, isn't it?
Yeah. And then another way you can do it is, so the third way you can do it is to do a simple survey monkey. There's a free option. You can get 100 responses for free and put a survey out to your customer database and ask the questions that you want to know. So who are you? So find out their age, their sex, where they live. Ask them how they first found out about your brand, your product, or your service. So where did you hear about me? So was it a referral? People referring you? Was it on social media? Where was it? And that will also tell you what elements of your current marketing is working, what isn't working. And then also from that, what has my product or my service done for you? So what are those pain points that my product and service has solved for you? And that will then help you build that picture about your customer, if you don't already have that data.
Do you think it's one of these things where we're not very good at asking other people for feedback? We just don't do it enough?
I think it's taking the time out. It's all very well for me to sit here and tell you what you should be doing, but we all know that.
Quite a bit to me, actually, don't you? Tell me what to do.
We all know that business owners are, often you're meeting yourself coming backwards. You're overwhelmed with everything you've got to do. I mean, we often feel like this day to day in what we're doing. So, we're business owners as well, and you don't always get the time. You don't get the time to take out to do this piece of work, to interrogate. I'll send a survey out to your current customers. But it is really important, and it is really worthwhile just scheduling a bit of time, even if it's in an evening, or just blocking half a day out or something in a few weeks' time, so you know that you won't schedule anything else into that time, and to try and make that time to do that. Is so valuable and so important in understanding your customer, because like we were saying, if you don't get that right, then you're likely to not get your marketing right, and therefore be wasting your money. So in the long term, it will actually save you money if you do put that time aside and focus on doing it.
I think the other thing you mentioned as well, which is really, you can do a survey, but actually I think we've all got customers that we really trust and we really like, we can get on well with, and it is worth having a conversation with them as well, isn't it? Because they just don't, have a beer or a chat with someone to get you a real insight.
If you don't have the time to do a survey and then analyse results, then why don't you they're known as focus groups, but it's just an informal focus group.
Isn't it? It's having
you go out, arrange to go and have a bit of a social with 4 or 5 of your key customers, have a drink, and ask them those questions and say, look, I want us to get together, but I also want to ask you a few questions about my brand and my product and my service. And ask them those questions that you would have done in a survey, just to
sometimes they'll open up as well, and actually I think they appreciate the conversations as well about how you can do things better. How can we do things to make out, they're always willing to. I've always found people always really willing to help and give you some advice and bits and nuggets that you can pull through and start using.
When I worked at Hotpoint, we always had a customer evening, and that was where we used to go around the country and have an evening event with our independent retailers and just ask them what we were doing well, what weren't we doing well, what would we change, what marketing was working. And I think, going back to the knowledge is king. If you don't ask, then you don't know and you don't understand, and you can't make the right decisions. And then there's also the fact of, if you're a startup, then obviously you don't have these customers to ask, because you're only just starting your business. So then what you want to do is go back to what I was saying about the products and services, think about the pain points you're solving. So who do you think your customer will be? And then pick some people that maybe they're friends of yours or colleagues or associates, and say, can we go for a coffee? I'd like to talk to you about this. And then sort of interrogate them in that way, a profile of person who you believe to be your target customer, and ask them those key questions to check whether they are your key customer or not. And then also that will be an informed, you can try out whether they think your product or your service is a good thing, or whether they're interested in it, or what things you need to change, or what things you should change in your messaging or your positioning in advance of going to market. So that's a really good, insightful piece that you should do, and you should do anyway as part of course of coming to market, to check your brand, your positioning, your products and service, and see if there is a market and an appetite for it. So.
We've also found as well that there's really not just the one customer that you'll have to profile. There'll be more because of maybe the type of service that you do, or you might have a range of services or product there. attracts different people. So it's about looking and saying, okay, is it customer A who I'm profiling, and then is it customer B? Because they're going to have different needs. But you need to spend still the same amount of time as researching those as the other ones. And as your products evolve, this is about, I guess, keeping on reevaluating it as well. So keep on revisiting what it is you're doing, so that over time things change, your product and service might change, technology changes. So even though you might have done this or you've got this, you think it's right, revisit it as well, because it's still really key.
Yeah. And if you have, obviously, there's different behaviours and different demographics of people. So obviously, if within the products and service your target audience is 2 different age sectors, then you're going to have to think about 2 different channels of marketing. You're not going to reach everyone with the same brushstroke. You're going to have dedicated campaigns that reaches out to the different types of demographics that you have in your customer. So that's really important to find out whether you do have a wide range, because you can't service all of them in your marketing with a broad brushstroke. You're going to have specific campaigns to reach those pockets of customers. Something I wanted to share with you was, I don't know if you can see this very well, but basically...
She's working back to front so she can't see it.
This is a customer profile that we pulled together when working one-to-one with clients. And this is the in-depth that we go. We give our customer a name. We think about perhaps the car that he's driving, things that he likes to do, so holidays, sports, what he likes to do on his weekend, where he lives. And we actually build that whole profile, his age, what his job is, the whole profile up, so that we can actually stand in that customer's shoes and think about, so this guy's called Rob, so we'd say, well, where would Rob be? What would Rob be thinking? What pain points are we solving for Rob? How can we reach Rob? Is he on LinkedIn? Is he on Facebook? Is he reading GQ magazine? Is he listening to the radio? What radio stations is he listening to? And you can be really informed as to where you can reach your target customer. So we did a whole Facebook Live on this, standing in your customer's shoes, but it's really important to stand in your customer's shoes and make sure that the messaging that you're sending to your customer is right and resonates with them. And it also enables you to be more informed going forward. So when you have opportunities come to you, as we do as business owners, where, you know, maybe there's some radio space, advertising space that's at a good rate, or a magazine advert, you can say, well, hang on a minute, is Rob, my customer, or is my target customer going to be in those places? Are they going to be reading that magazine? Are they going to be listening to that radio station? Or are they going to be at that networking event? You know, depending on what their job role is or what type of customer they are. And you can make an informed decision as to whether you go and do that piece of marketing.
It's so easy, I think, to knee-jerk and go, oh, we've got this, it's a real bargain. It's
only
it's 400 quid and we've got all this radio press and things like that. But actually...
But that's where people start to say, my marketing's not returning. Well, it won't return because you're not...
sound good, it might sound a really sexy thing to do, and they're brilliant and really good, but...
You're not fishing where your fish are, so you're not going to... It's not going to return for you. If your customer isn't there, then it might be the best deal in the world, but it doesn't matter because it's not going to do anything for you. So that's really important.
The best Radio 1 campaign or independent radio would be brilliant for certain people, but my mum doesn't listen to that kind of stuff. So if you were targeting my mum...
Well, that's the extremes, isn't it?
It's the two extremes of people, isn't it?
You know, if you're talking to 20, 25-year-olds, well, they're probably on Instagram, they're watching vloggers, they're reading blogs, they purchase online, they hardly ever go into retail now. It's a completely different profile to my mum, your mum in their 70s, who, you know, would look at something...
Wouldn't know what a vlog was.
No.
I think it was a log with a V in front of it, put on the fire or something.
Or hit someone over their head or something. So my mum's only just getting to grips with Facebook, and she thinks that every post that goes on there is a personal message to her.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah,
very popular
then. But something in the mail she'd probably look at, or she goes into retail, she doesn't shop online, wouldn't shop online. All behaviours are completely different.
There was a guy I met this morning at a networking event, and I hadn't prompted anything about him. We were just talking. He says, "Oh, I just research everything before they buy. They literally go online and research stuff." So ties back to what we said before about different demographics.
And we're doing that so much more now. We're not, we don't just purchase, well, we've talked about this, we don't just purchase based on advertising anymore. It's all about reviews, testimonials, referrals. It's,
So the key thing to this one, for this first part, is actually spend some time, quality time, working out who these people are.
The information is there. It's taking the time out to discover
and
it.
If you have any questions about that, or you're not sure where to start, then drop us a note, drop us a message within on the feed.
Yeah, and if you're watching replay, then and you've seen this and you have a specific question, then comment, and then we'll
comment.
Come back to you.
We'll come back to you and send us a comment across, because it is sometimes it's just knowing where to start, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
completely.
we'll assume now that you've all spent hours now and you've got it nailed, and we know who your target market is. The next bit is then, how do you effectively market to them?
And again, that's going back to your profile. So hopefully, in the questions that you've asked them, you'll have worked out what media they consume, whether they do look at reviews, referrals, testimonials before they purchase. You'll have learned their behaviour. So you'll have come up with some demographic answers and some behavioural answers, which will then inform you on which marketing channels that you should use. But also then spend some time, if you haven't already, on the pain points that you're solving for them. So you make sure that your key messages are right, because once you've chosen your channels, you need to make sure that your key messages then resonate with that target customer as well. So it's about knowing who it is, being in the right place, and then saying the right things at the right time, in the right place, to the right people. So key messages are a really important stage in that. And also finding out what customer they are. So are they a new customer? Are they a lagging customer? So have they bought from you but then never bought again? Are they a loyal customer? Or are they a repertoire customer? And a repertoire, we mean they're just not brand loyal. They just jump from brand to brand and whoever's giving the best.
I've never heard that term before, repertoire. I thought it was all through the ballet. Every day. See, I've learned something today as well about a repertoire.
And obviously your message will be different depending on what type of customer they are. If they're new, if they're repeat, if they're lagging, or if they're repertoire. So again, you need to understand what kind. So once you've defined the customer, what type of customer are they, and then that will determine how you speak to them as well.
I think also as well, if we're doing things like, if your customers are on social and you need to do social content, they don't always respond straight away. So we're meeting people now who are saying, oh yeah, I've seen, and they just sit and lurk around, so they might not give you an instant response. So you might not feel some of this stuff is working, but actually people are getting to recognise who you are. So we'll see people now and they'll just say, oh yeah, I've seen you all over social. In fact, we're sick to death of seeing you on certain things, but they lurk, don't they? They just don't hang around.
And that is an important thing to think about. A lot of people put a lot of expectation on social media as part of their marketing mix, and really social media isn't the conversion. It's not. Don't expect a massive conversion from social. It's not about that. Social media is about awareness. It's about building awareness. It's about talking about your story, talking about what you do, talking about who you are, sharing, share. And then, like Mike said, most people will be lurkers, but they'll have heard of you. They'll have seen what you're talking about. They'll have listened, and you'll be on their shopping list, so that when they do want your product and service, then you'll be there as a brand that they think of and a name that they think of. And then when we go into the stages of interest and trial, that's when you really want to be seeing a return for your marketing. So that's about your email campaigns, it's about your website, it's about a brochure, the ones that giving that interest and hopefully then converting awareness into a purchase. So it's important to know which elements of your marketing activity you expect to see that return on.
And then there's also things like, giving. We like to give a lot of value away and to help people, and you might be able to do the same thing with your services. Give something away that people can use straight away and put into their business. And you can get a lot of information back from that as well. So start thinking about, how can I develop a landing page or a lead page to give something away, but at the same time capturing people's information. So it's about, for example, I don't know, if you're in financial services or you might be able to give a document away that just says top tips on whatever it might be, but get people's information, capture their email addresses, because the other thing that will allow you to do then is profile them and find lookalike people as well. So there's various things within Facebook you can do that allow you to profile like-for-like customers, so you can find out more about people who are like your typical demographic. So by capturing information but encouraging, it's about, we're saying as well, it's about having conversations with people at the networking event. It's not about selling, it's about having a conversation and where you can add value to somebody, but at the same time try and take that info and utilise it going forward.
Yeah. But
just add value to whatever you do.
Yeah.
And then keep reviewing it. So some of the channels that you'll start working with that might work for one customer might not work for another, but see what's happening, see what number of clicks you're getting through, how's that driving traffic to your website. Certain things will work better than others. So it's about monitoring it and reviewing it. Get to know your analytics with people as well. So if you've got a web provider, work with them to see how things are going. And then start collating as much information and data as possible. The more data you have, the more selectful you can be and talk to the customer about the right messages at the right time. Things like digital print now, it's so easy to then to talk to Claire about what Claire likes and what Claire knows, or what she wants to buy, and we can do that through the data rather than being totally blasé and blasting about everything we talk about. So there's quite a lot to think about, but it all comes back to profiling who your customers and where they're likely to hang around.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will have been
some
help. So if you're watching, give us a smile, give us a thumbs up. But I say, if you have any questions after this, then put the comments in below, and either myself or Claire will respond to you with any thoughts we can do.
Definitely.
We'll post this in the business squad as well, so the guys who've been on can see that, get it as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, ping them across to us, and we just love to help you and find out how we can support you guys going forward.
Yeah, and of course, this is just another topic that we cover on the Be More Bootcamp, which is on Tuesday, September the 18th. So we actually take you through on the bootcamp how we actually go through with you and identify your target customer. And then we show you how to build a content marketing plan that will reach out to that customer and the key messages that you should be using. So it's a really, really good exercise to go through on the bootcamp and really get you thinking. So if you haven't already booked on, or if you don't know about the bootcamp, then check out the link that is on this post and just come and find out a bit more about the day. Really recommend it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll probably be back either Monday or Tuesday next week. We'll decide which one we're going to do, and we'll cover all them things about marketing plans.
Yes, we will. We'll
cover that. All right, then. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Should we mention the football again? It's coming home. Well, we just have them. There
Fingers
you go.
crossed.
Fingers crossed. Next time we speak to you, we might be world champions.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, might take the day off. Right. Okay. Cool. We'll see you all very, very soon, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.